Alright, so I need to build a display for some ukuleles because I'm going to be teaching some free ukulele lesson classes at the local library, and we want to be able to display some ukuleles so people can see them and generate some interest about the ukulele classes. So we're going to build something they can mount to the wall and hold their ukuleles. So I've got a piece of a barn board here. Well, it's not really barn board, but it's made to look like barn board. It's that synthetic press board stuff, but I think it's the right size. We're going to take our ukulele and put it on there. I don't know, maybe it's a little short, but maybe it'll be okay. I think we may go for it. I was going to put some trim around it, but I don't think it's quite big enough to put trim on it. But that's okay. We'll mount the a fork here on the top so it'll hold the neck, and then it'll come down. And we'll paint this here part with the Hawaiian theme and stuff, and we should be able to get, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go with 5. We'll divide this up to where we can get 5 ukuleles on it, and we got 4 that have been donated, so that's a good starting point. And then if we need more, we can put we can make additional boards and put those up. So here we go. All right, so this here is a ukulele hanger, but I don't want to use these. These things are like 20 bucks a piece, and to do 5 of them, that's 100 bucks, and this is just a freebie project, so I really don't want to spend a lot of money on it. So I've got me an old piece of apatong wood here, apatong, and this comes from the bed of a tractor trailer rig. And I'm going to plane this down some to get rid of the crusty stuff on it, and then we'll cut it so that we've got some finger thingies sticking out of this stuff that we can mount onto the board. You'll see. Alright, so I did some measurements. I think I want my inside gap to be 1 3/4 inches. I want it to be 3 inches all the way across, about 4 inches deep, and I want my pocket to be 1 3/4 inches. So we're going to cut some apatong to match those dimensions. Alright, so we got our boards marked here with a 4-inch mark. And so that's going to be how long they are, and I'm going to put those on the chop saw and cut me at least 5 or 6 of those. Alright, so I ended up with 8 of these, which is fine. I can make a couple extra in case I need to make another board. And so now I got to cut a notch out here, and then we'll drill some pilot holes and stuff so we can put a couple screws in the back of this, hold it to the board, sand off the rough edges, and should be well on our way. Alright, so I said I wanted my notch to be 1 3/4 inches wide. So my board here is 3 inches, so if I subtract 1 3/4, I'm left with 1 1/4, and if I divide that in half, I'm left with a half plus an eighth, so I'm left with 3/8. So that means I need to measure in 3/8, I'm sorry, 5/8 on each side. Measure in 5/8 here, and then my distance between these two should be 1 3/4, and it is. Voila! Amazing how math works out sometimes. So that's the width. So we're gonna draw a line back on that, And then I said I wanted my depth to be 1 3/4 inches. So we can measure that pretty easily. Alright, so this part here is the part I want to get rid of. I got a broken pencil. I'm trying to struggle through. Alright, so this here is the part we want to get rid of. So we should be able to put this on the bandsaw or something and cut that out pretty nice and even. And then, like I said, it'd just be a matter of putting a couple pilot holes in the back so that we can attach this to the board. Alright, so I got my basic shape there, and we'll just hit this with a little bit of sandpaper and stuff. I'm gonna put some material on here to cushion the wood on the ukulele anyway, so it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but we'll buff the pencil marks out and around the edges a little bit, and then I think we'll just use this as a template to mark all the rest of them and cut them out. Alright, so I flipped the board over because I'm going to make some marks, and so it'll be easier to do it on this side. And I think I got my ukulele top to bottom the way I want it, and so I need to measure how far down this is. So it's 2 3/4 inches, so I'll make sure they're all the right height. And then I said I wanted to put 5 ukuleles on here, and so I'm going to use the tape measure here to make sure they're all kind of evenly spaced. I know I never tend to do anything like that, but in this case I kind of need to. And then I've got some washers here. These are the type of washers that it's got a little dent in it, and then I can start my screw through there, and it'll keep the head of this from breaking out on this press board, this particle board. And then of course we'll drill holes into this, because this is hard wood, to let the screw go in there nice and deep and hold that. So that's kind of where we're at. So I'm going to double check and make sure I can get 5 ukuleles on here, and then we'll start drilling some holes, or making some marks and drilling some holes. First thing I want to do is check this side to side. So it's 4 foot. It's actually a little bit over 4 foot because it's got a lip edge on it. But so if I go 2 1/4 is my middle. So I'll line my ukulele up on that, and then I want to make sure that I can. So if I use that to kind of mark where my ukulele goes, and if I put one there, and I can get one there. So indeed I can get 1 in the middle and 2 on either side. So we're just going to break that out evenly. So let's see if I can keep this math easy. Yeah. So if I go 8 inches, 16 inches, and another 8 would take me to 24 inches. So should be every 8 inches. And so I'll just double check that again. And I think I want to move this one over a little bit. So if I have this in the middle, and I move it over 8 inches, and I move it over another 8 inches that's on top of that. So I really want to move this. What is this? This is like 6 inches. Alright, so 6 inches. I should go 9 on top of the 6. Should put me about 15. Alright, so 6. Let's go 15. Yeah, that works out a little bit better. Okay, so that means I've got 9 inches here, got 9 inches here, and then here I've only got 6 inches, but I'm off to the edge of the board and I don't have to share any of that with the other next ukulele. So that looks like what we want to do. 6, 9, and 9 off of here. So 9 inches down. Another 9 inches down, and then that last bit will be 6 inches. Okay, so that'll work. I think I'm going to go get my level so I can make sure my grid lines are straight. Alright, so I got this square here at 2 3/4 inches. So I'm going to mark this across. It got off just a little bit, but that's okay. Alright, so now I should be able to use this as a template, and now I'm not measuring to make sure this block is totally centered. I think I can eyeball it close enough. Alright, so now I know more where my blocks goes. I'll drill me a hole in the middle of each one of those, and then we'll be ready to mount these as soon as the fabric is dried, being glued on. So I want to pick a drill bit that's bigger than the threads, because I don't need the hole here. I don't need the screw to be catching on it, because it's going to catch on the hole that's drilled in that. So I want it to really drop right through. So, and then we just need to make sure that it's smaller than the head of the bit. So hopefully you can see that. So this should be big enough to cover the threads to drop right through, but the head won't. And then of course we're going to have this washer on top of that anyway, so that'll keep it all in line. Good there. Now when these things are dry, what I'll do is I'll come out here and I'll line these up as best I can on the other side, and then we'll drill through, get a hole started in that to kind of mark them, and then I'll take a smaller drill bit that's smaller than the threads and drill down inside there so that the screw will hold onto the wood. Alright, so I got a drill bit on here that's smaller than the threads on the drywall screw, and I'm going to put this through the hole I've drilled and kind of line this up where I think it should be on the on my holding block. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill one of these and then put the screw through, drill the second one. You see, this is some hard wood. The wood's just stuck in the drill bit right now. There we go, some of them comes out. So I'm going to go ahead and put the screw through to hold it in place, and then I'll drill the other one so that way I can make sure that they're lined up well. Alright, so that'll hold that in place, and then I can take the drill bit and drill my second hole. This here is where I really should go get the other drill so that I can keep the drill bit in one and the driver bit in the other. But I'm not always the smartest guy. I'm sure I'll go get it here in a minute. Alright, got those nice and tight. Looks like the washer thing's going to do well. And this looks like it's pretty nice and sturdy. And we got our felt on the top to protect the wood on the ukulele. So we'll just keep going down the line here. Same way, and then we'll be done. Alright, so our ukulele display board is done. We've got our holders here. We've got some cloth on that so that it is easy on the ukuleles, and we can hold 5 on that board. And I actually got some fabric. I think if I do another one, I'll put some fabric on there. Obviously I'm not an artist, but at any rate, I think ukuleles are going to cover up a lot of that anyway, but I think it'll look alright. We're going to throw the ukuleles up there real quick and take a picture of that, and then we'll be ready to drop it off at the library. The library has this maintenance van, and they'll hang that somewhere on the wall. So we won't be doing that part of the project. Alright, so there it is with the ukuleles. These 4 on the left are soprano ukuleles that have been donated. That one there is actually my ukulele. It's a concert. And you can see it's a little longer. Hangs down a little bit further. So on the next board I make, if I make a next board, hopefully we will. Maybe I'll make it a little bit longer to accommodate concert ukuleles, but I think for right now that'll work pretty good.